I do not have experience with that community. I started representing this school back now in February 2024. Involved in that, I've since relocated to Western New York State. Passion now represents government school and the school for the deaf. So we have quite a bit of experience in working with deaf people, but still learning. I think this is a transition process. Anyway, very glad to have this.
Passing over Cheryl Agnew and Andy. We'd like for you to just kind of briefly introduce yourself since you're very part of.
I'm Cheryl Iannucci, and I'm a principal at the school. I've been at NCSD since January of last year, so a little over a year now. Excited to be here and watch the changes last year.
Thank you, Cheryl. Assistant, data manager, and I'm going to March of next year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here, and Kevin knows me. We've known each other ever since he was a little boy. He was in Boy Scouts. Kevin's been here forever, and so have I. This is my 54th year of being associated with the school. Like Bob, like Rob, like others that can serve the community. So, I grew up here in Wilsonton home. I was an athlete at one time, and I sit on 5 Hall of Fames, and I'm very proud of that and very proud of this town. Super proud of this school and tickled to death that you are with us now, Kevin, because I know you. I've watched your career from a little boy to a graduate to relay to VR, and I'm elated you're here. I know you will speak your mind. I know you will be an advocate, not only for deafness, but for PNCSD.
Yes, both Sharon and Kevin are in agreement, yes.
Thank you, Gary, as well.
Thank you.
My name is Ken Jones. I've been on many committees in Wilson. I was the plant manager at the Merck Pharmaceutical plant. While we were there, we had hired 2 deaf individuals that came from the school, Bob Healy and Dave, what's his last name? Anyway, they were 2 operators, and they were great individuals who showed to me that deaf people are just like the rest of the people, except they're smarter. The other thing I just want to say, that's something Gary and I were, and so was Rob. A few years ago, the state had talked about shutting down the school, combining, and I was on the committee along with Rob. Gary and I were co-chairs, and Rob was on it as well. So that's what got us involved with the School for the Deaf, and we have such a heart that we want to do the right things for the deaf community. We know it's a challenge, but we also know that we have strong individuals who are able to help us do the right thing. And I also look forward to Kevin being here and Sharon, who's already shared their thoughts on many things. And it helps us stay focused on what we should be doing to help the deaf community, basically. So thank you all. All right, we'll move on just because we got a lot to do today, and we need to get past us to get the rest of it done.
So should he introduce himself? Should Kevin introduce himself? Chair's asking?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Hello, my name is Kevin Earp, and I am happy to be here. Originally, I was asked to be on this board through DSDHH, Vision Services Deaf Hard of Hearing, but at that time I was not ready because of the life situation I was going through, so we put things on hold. And then I had some alumni contact me, and they said they would appreciate my help with my involvement and support. And After talking with some people, getting involved with the school and the relationship and the board, I think the board has done a great job, but sometimes there are things that are missing. Sometimes the heart is missing within the school. I am from the school. I grew up here, I went here, been around it. I'm a product of the school. And so I'm here for that. And hopefully that representation, I'm able to represent the alumni well, and hopefully we can take things on from here. Serve. I'm appreciative of being here, but I know the alumni, I appreciate being alumni as well and being here.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda was, we need a formal approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second? Need a second on the agenda. Rocco, yes, he might be a choice. The second, all in favor, say aye, or like sign. Okay. All right, we'll move forward. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
They're in your packet if you haven't had a chance to read them. The motion that we accept the minutes of the last meeting as included. We need a second on that.
Everybody read.
This is Sharon. So I am not able to vote, correct? I'm not voting. Am I able to second you? No, I'm not voting. Okay, well, I second. If I can do that, then I'll
Yeah.
second it. Okay, yes, I do second.
Move and second. Any further comments? All in agreement, say aye, or like sign. Motion carried. Okay. We'll move on to introduction. We did that already. Celebrations.
So our celebrations, we have a lot to celebrate right now. We are still collecting some of the data from our end of the year testing, but preliminary results have been very promising. We've had 3 students that have received their industry recognized certification in their CTE classes. We had 1 senior who received her culinary arts credential, and 2 juniors who received their Adobe certification CTE credentials. So we are excited for their success, that's for sure. We also have seen a lot of growth in our Math 1 and Math 3 results this year. We had 3 students that were 1 to 2 points away from proficiency. In the past, they haven't even come close to that. So the fact that they were just right there showed a lot of growth. And so we're really excited about that. We're still crunching numbers and trying to see how much growth the students had. It's a little more challenging because most of your traditional schools use EVOS, which is a system that analyzes student growth. Unfortunately, at ENCSD, our sample size is too small to use that program, so we have to crunch and compare those numbers in-house. So we're still in the process of getting those test results and doing that. So hopefully in July, I will have a full report of what our test results came out as in terms of that growth piece.
Excellent. Okay, we'll move on to next on the agenda is the final review of a couple of policies and procedures.
Yes, so those were the policies that we reviewed last time for the leave policy and for the SIPA, which is just basically the board has to do its final approval of those policies.
What did you say, SIPA?
SIPA, C-I-P-A. And the second one I referred to, the Children's Internet Protection Act, that is actually included in your folders. I did not include the leave policy because we've reviewed that a couple of times.
So we just need approval of the internet
Of
security,
those two
the
policies.
two policies here. Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Second.
And let me just add it doesn't change, I think we should go ahead and approve them, just for, if Kevin wasn't here when we discussed it last time, the way the policies are done, board approves policies, but the typical approach is to have a first reading of the policy 1 month. And that gives the board members a chance to review that, the public can offer in any comments on it. And then that's the first reading, it's brought back to the board for a second reading. And then the actual approval, the effective approval is after the second reading. So we're on the second reading of these policies. So when we have new policies, we'll have a first reading 1 month, second reading the next month, unless there's an emergency or some need to adopt a policy immediately. So we're on the second reading.
So it's been moved in second that we approve both of these two policies. Any further comments?
I have a question or a statement. This is Kevin. How did you get the public comments on that? How do you get that?
So we basically, for the SIPO, what we did was we posted it on our webpage and put the information on there. We sent out announcements to our current families. And so we do it through our social media.
Okay, all right, great.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of these policies being approved? Aye or like sign? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next is public input.
I have none. No one has signed up to speak today.
Should I ask? Should I ask the audience?
They have to sign up.
Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, new business, we move on. The certified staff, are you talking about this, Doctor?
I'm sorry.
The first comment on the new business was,
We were going to do the school director's report first.
oh, did I miss it? Okay, fine. Okay. School director's report.
Celebrations.
Did you
I
take
didn't
that?
realize that there were two different items.
Okay, okay, I didn't.
No
All right.
worry. So we've had a very busy week this week. We had our senior awards ceremony yesterday, and we recognized one of our seniors as the student of the year and residential student of the year, as well as the principal student of the year. And that was one of our seniors who's graduating, Hugh Lee. And Hugh and Charnice are actually going to continue their education at RIT, so we're really excited about that for the both of them. We have our K-11 awards tomorrow at 10, and then that's when we will do our underclassmen citizenship awards for the high school, middle school, and elementary school. So those names will be released after we have that ceremony tomorrow. We are excited to announce that we have our ASL classes for our staff. That will be 3 days a week all summer long, as well as we have our community ASL classes starting on from 6 to 7 on Tuesday nights during the month of June. So we're excited to offer that again. We look forward to receiving as many people, hopefully, as we've had in the past. We had 65 the first go around and 70 the second go around of the community ASL classes. So we're excited that the community's coming in and taking advantage of that opportunity. Our transition from DPI to DOA is on schedule for June 30th is the day that we will all celebrate. And as of July 1, we will be officially through the transition process. This transition has been very taxing on our HR department as well as our business office. They've had to do a lot of different trainings. They've had to do prepare for a lot of different procedures, open bank accounts, and they have put a lot of hours into this transition. So I definitely appreciate the work that both departments have been doing, and our HR department is at a 1 right now. So Simone has been extremely busy. So at this point, I would like to bring Susan up to give our finance report update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I come back to meet with you again today just to just review our financial standings at the end of the month of April. We don't have all of our expenditure data for the month of May yet. So I always like to, present on a closed month, as we call it. You have an overview report in your packet if you'd like to refer to it. At a high level, you can see that the school has a budget of just over $10 million. At the end of April, we had spent $7 million. So we have 2 months to go, and we have been, we've been busy making purchases and procurement of goods and services to finish out this year, for our summer school program, and for the start of next school year as well. So we think we've picked up the pace a little bit because, of course, our goal is to spend all of our state appropriated dollars. However, with the current vacancies that we have, we do know that we will probably leave about $1 million on the table, okay? Now, the state of North Carolina does have reversion targets for state appropriations. Those dollars go to the rainy day fund, Hurricane Helene relief, and different areas. So I do just like to share that, those dollars, although the school will not be able to benefit from them, the state of North Carolina and other areas of government will benefit, okay? The rating, of course, as you can see, we're on track to spend approximately 96% of our funds. And personally, I think that, that's a good place to be in. I've been here 3 months now. Cheryl has been working at acting school director for just a few months. So, we've only had a short time to work together and focus on the budget, but we're getting it under our belt, and we'll start, running out the gates after July with our new budget. Does anyone have any questions at this point?
I think we're doing good, given all the challenges we've had and that's in front of us as well. So we appreciate you bringing this to us in a very clear, concise manner. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we, as Cheryl said, we're working with DPI to carry us through the end of June, and we've also been working with Department of Administration as they will become our support, financial, in the financial support area for tasks and responsibilities that DPI has been handling for us. DOA will pick those up until we have the staff and the training that we need to handle those independently.
Susan, could you speak a little bit about the board payments?
Yes. So if you recall, last month I did bring to the board a little information about per diem for board members and reimbursement for any travel expenses. When I left the board meeting that day, after having shared that information with you, DPI informed me that board per diem had to be paid through a payroll system. Okay, that would mean that taxes and withholdings would come out of that. That's a $50, if you remember, that's a $50 per diem payment for each day that you serve in your official capacity. I was disappointed because I know from previous experience in other state agencies, board per diem is not treated as payroll. It is a $50 payment, if you will. However, if it's treated as payroll, there's a 1099 reported and taxes do come out of it. Looking ahead, I've already communicated with Department of Administration on how that would be handled. Department of Administration agrees to handle it as I have suggested and presented to you last month, in that it would be basically a reimbursement payment to you of $50 for your service and any travel expense that you incur. With that information, I just want to make you aware, and if you would like to be compensated at $50 per diem per day that you've met or served in your capacity, and have that paid through a payroll payment, a DPI payroll issuance, I'm happy to work with you, and Simone can help us have that treated as payroll. Okay? Understandably, there may be reasons that you don't want to receive that as payroll. If that is the case and you want to wait, beginning in July, it would be a reimbursement payment that did not go through the state payroll system. So if there's any discussion to be had about that, we can have that now. The pros and cons may be, personal in terms of your tax situation, your retirement from the state and those kinds of things. So, but I do want you to have the information. Yes, Gary.
For the people sitting in here, just so you're knowledgeable, we're here freely. We get paid nothing
This is Sharon.
as a
Right,
board of trustees.
nothing.
So she has offered us to get money back for our gas and expenditures, just a little bit. And my question is, will this be retroactive since we've been here, or 1 year back, or since January, or you're not knowledgeable about yet?
No, I'm completely comfortable in saying that we can go back 1 year to the
Wow.
start of the state fiscal year that we are currently in. Okay. I remember Patrick Miller last month kind of commenting that we would have to have DPI support and approval to go to a previous state fiscal year, and yeah, let's try to just keep it within the current year that we're in. So again, I mean, I'm happy to work with you individually to get that. We'd have to have a tax withholding form that I could share with you. And we, of course, have record of each time that the board has met. And again, just based on what Gary said, to be clear, it is within the House Bill 11 that it's a $50 per day per diem payment that board members are eligible for, plus any travel expenditures. So, that is, you are eligible for those reimbursements.
When you say per day, you mean per meeting, right?
Per meeting, yes.
Sorry.
Other questions? Now, you say per meeting.
Well,
You want to clarify that because there's a group of us that meet more than the other group. Is this a general meeting and emergency meeting? That is board, general boards, or we have an executive session meeting also. Is there any kind of clarification? Is that something you need to ask about also?
I think we would need to review the policy, review the policy, to be clear on what the intent is, okay?
I believe it's worded board meeting, so we'd have to like look at the context that it's within.
And we can, I'm sorry, we can also discuss with the other person.
Right, good.
What I've been comfortable with on the other boards I've served on is to get either a stipend or travel reimbursement for a meeting that is properly noticed in advance. That if we're just talking on the telephone or we just happen to get together and talk, that's not properly noticed. So we would not seek reimbursement or stipend for that. And I assume our policy is similar to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Susan? Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. And next, I would like to call Simone Lee up to give our HR update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, where do I start?
The beginning.
As Cheryl has mentioned, it has been very busy in the HR department, being a department of one at the moment, but we're getting it done. Transition meetings are still underway. We're still working with OSC, OSBM, DOA, and DPI. Lots of pieces to this puzzle here. The June 30th date is quickly approaching. And even though June 30th is our last official date before the transition on 7/1, we do have some internal hard stops as well. So as far as actions, which I know some of this language may be foreign, but actions that I do in the Fiori system, and organizational management. So any changes that I would like to do, any changes to positions, all of those things have a hard stop date of June the 6th with us and DPI, because again, the longer that things linger, the more difficult it will be for things to transition over smoothly at that June 30th date. So we have some internal hard stop dates as well as the 6/30 deadline as well. We have one resignation for the month of May. It was due to personal reasons, so no bad feedback or anything in regards to the school. The employee actually thanked us for her time served here, and which is that she could return to work, but due to personal reasons, she was unable.
Excellent. Good to have you here.
Yes, thank
And
you.
I know you're working really hard on all this
Thank you.
stuff.
Yes, I am.
I was just going to suggest this and also this item, the certified staff contract renewal. In any report, I would suggest it's on individual employees, resignations or hirings. We should probably go first to put it in closed session under personnel matters. And then if there can be any questions, board can ask. And then, so you could report that during closed session.
Okay.
And then we can take any action thereafter. So any further, there was no problem with what you said about the person who resigned, but I can see a situation where somebody might want to, why did they resign? What were the circumstances? Let's just do all that in closed session.
Okay. And that's for any employee updates, correct? Just to make sure.
If it's individualized, yes,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay,
Now, if you've hired somebody,
that was gonna be my next question.
Uh, I would probably do that in closed session and then report back, just in case there's a question that comes up from a board member. Were there other candidates, blah, 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 et cetera. I think we run it first through closed session. But
Okay,
you'd be part of that closed session.
okay,
Yeah.
understood. Thank you for that feedback. And on that topic, I do have a new HR tech who will be joining me on a temporary basis. I wanted to do temporary just to make sure that the candidate is a good fit. HR is a very, very interesting line of work, so I want to make sure that the person is the right fit. You know, they understand the responsibilities of what we do here. We are small, but there's a lot of work that comes out of HR. So instead of hiring someone on permanently at this time, I chose to go the temporary route to give us both a little bit of feel for each other. And that person is due to start with me on June the 16th. The individual is a retiree from the state of North Carolina and also has HR management experience. So I'm excited. The individual's in background check right now. So hopefully all will work out well and the school will get to see a little bit more of me. So we've had 17 employees where the service award ceremony is going to be held this week for our employees as well. We have 17 employees who will be receiving a service award from 5 years to 35 years, I believe, for our most long tenured employees. We currently have 32 vacant positions, with the oldest vacant position being backdated to June of 2020. Just to get a better understanding of the vacant positions, there was a lot of cleanup involved in these vacancies. That was my first order of business since my tenure. I started here at ENCSD last July, and I even asked about the vacancies during my interview that I saw online. So there's lots and lots of work around that. Some of the current vacancies we have, we understand we may not have a need for. But there's a 3-step process in regards to reallocating a position, which is a reclassification. So for example, you see 2 RNs on here where we found we don't have a need for 2 RNs. We may need an RN and an LPN. Well, it's not as simple as me just changing an RN to an LPN. There's a process that has to be involved. Money has to be attached and things of that nature. But just to get a clear understanding, the money attached to the positions we still will keep. It's just the changing of the positions and the titles that we're trying to do to better streamline and align with the work that we do here at ENCSD. So it has to make sense, right? So I have been working along with Cheryl and Susan to look at our vacancies, to look at the positions, to see if this is something that is needed, to see if this is something that is not. So it may look like a lot there, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes in regards to a lot of our vacancies as well, okay?
Some of the teaching positions that are vacant currently, as our population continues to grow, we may have to go ahead and fill those vacancies. But currently, with the number of students that we have, we didn't feel that for this school year that was needed. But going into next school year, we may have to hire a couple elementary teachers in particular.
And then finally, we have our teaching renewal contracts for the 25-26 school year. We have 19 teachers that we are going to be renewing their contract for, and they vary from 1 to 2 years. Now, contracts can be 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. So we do have some teachers that are already currently in their 4-year contract term, and then we'll be renewing the other teachers for the 25-26 upcoming school year for 1 to 2 year contracts. We have 1 social worker that will be renewing their contract and 1 school psychologist that will be renewing their school contract as well. And I believe that is all that I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. I want to thank you for all you have done, because I remember not more than a couple of months ago, we had 37 vacancies. Right now, I counted, we've got 21 continuously posting, meaning they have been reduced from 37 to 21. And I really, really appreciate that. But as Rob will tell you, and so will Kevin, things are happening around us that gives us a preview, and I'm scared because I'm thinking all of these different state agencies now are freezing positions that have been vacant for a long time, and I'm so afraid they're gonna come into us and say, you no longer have those there frozen. I know you can't go out and just hire somebody willy-nilly, but thank you for reducing it from where it was to what it is now, and I know both of y'all are working behind the scenes to do that. The other thing, and you mentioned it just briefly, but I'd like to know more about it. And Brian, this is very general, I'm not mentioning any names. Ken and I have noticed since day one, we've got a beautiful fence, we've got security that public schools would die for, we've got a gatehouse. We don't have a single person in security. We don't have it 24 hours. We don't have the gatehouse manned. Is there some way you would consider, or if it's a board function, I throw it to you, could we consider maybe some of these continuously posting positions that we know we're not going to need? We're not going to need if we gain 30 people next year, or 30 kids. Could we convert it to security and have a 24-hour great security system here on our campus?
Well, Gary, first, thank you very much for the compliment. I definitely appreciate that. And second, I feel like you've been eavesdropping on Cheryl and I's conversations. Because that is exactly what I am doing, which is why I wanted to express the changes that's going on with the position. So just for an example, we're looking at a procurement specialist within the business office. We're looking at a security guard. We're looking at security for the school as a school resource officer. So those are the things that I would like to clean up before anyone gets to us to look at our positions. So that's why I'm kind of working like tirelessly to get that together, because the more we have positions that streamline to keep us more in compliance of what we need, they'll let us keep those other positions on the books. So that's exactly what we've been doing all this time, outlining what we need and making those changes to those current positions, allowing us to still keep the funding, because that's important as well. So we're not abolishing anything, we're doing changes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yes,
This is Kevin.
Yes. Hi, Kevin.
Reading some of the positions, honestly, breaks my heart to see how reduced some of the staff is being paid, especially for housing supervisors. Understand exactly what I'm saying is, as a parent, with a child away from home, you want the best dorm parent for your child to be there to provide care. So if you don't pay them enough, you're not going to get good quality staff. So really, we need to bump that up. If there's any way to transfer those funds to elevate those positions because of the special interaction that they have with those students, those children that do stay in the dorms here, elevate their positions somehow. People are involved. It's such an important role in the children's lives. A child who lives here at school is away from their biological parents. And if they don't have that loving touch, they grow up to be someone who's not loved. So we need that interaction. The children need that special touch, and this is Sharon. And to add, if we do bump up their pay, we could be more competitive and recruit more people here. That would be good. That could, help people want to be here. But if they're paid low, what Gary's saying.
I was saying also, and we've talked a little bit about it, no, we can't, but 11 months pay for those people, because we're competing with the public out there and their jobs are not 10 months. Their jobs are
Right.
12 months, but 11 would help. And anyway, that's just.
I know.
This is Sharon, I know my experience. Some people, in May, they have to pay double insurance. It really kills their checks to have to pay double the insurance in that last month they get paid.
I'm sorry, it's a spider and I'm terrified of spiders, so. Okay, okay.
That's a friendly one.
Oh, no, I don't do spiders. I don't do spiders. Okay, thank you both, Kevin and Sharon, for your comments. I would like to also add that unfortunately, a lot of the pay and a lot of the things were done prior to me coming here, but thankfully I am here now. And so another part of the process is me looking at positions and their pay. And I actually have already increased some staff, of course, with reviews, equity, making sure that everything has been done correctly, legally, to looking at changing some of the pay for some of those positions. And just last year, the state had given funds to increase certain roles, and one of the roles were in the residential department. Do I believe that there's definitely other positions that could be rewarded an increase? Absolutely. But again, a lot of this involved in the transition for the positions and the reallocations. It's a 3 to 4 step process. So I'm looking at market analysis. I'm looking at internal equity within the state of North Carolina. Then I'm looking at equity within the 3 residential schools. So it's not just in-house. I'm definitely trying to look to see where we can be competitive. And the good thing about us becoming independent July 1st, we're able to do that a little bit more without so much red tape. Now, that doesn't mean we go willy-nilly. I still like to follow some of OSHR's guidelines, and of course the law when it comes to 115s and 115C positions. So a lot of that is being reviewed thoroughly. There's been a tremendous discussions between me, Cheryl, and Susan. So that is something that I'm looking to do as well. When we do the changes to these positions, whatever we have left over, where can we distribute those funds to increase for additional duties that will become upon the employees effective July the 1st.
Any other comments for?
This is Kevin. Do you have a budget for Terminate?
We need one. This isn't gonna continue to happen. I'll figure out something with one of these positions. Did you have anything additional you wanted me to say? No? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Almost want to stay in my chair.
A little bitty spider.
Oh, I don't do spiders. I don't do spiders. Kenny's design.
Yeah.
Those as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and the list of staff that have renewals is in your board packet. If you want to talk about any of that during closed session, any particulars, we can certainly do that as well. Well, today is graduation, and we are proud to announce that we have 4 seniors who will be graduating with us today. 2 of which, as I mentioned earlier, are going to RIT, and the other 2 will be going into the workforce. We have 36 students registered for our Operation Accelerate Summer Camp, which will be the 2nd and 3rd week in June. Only 1 of those 36 students are a current student. So that means 35 new students will be coming to ENCSD. So we hope that that will allow them the opportunity to see what we offer here and possibly join us in the fall. Students will be housed in ILC. The roof job was on target as of last week with the rain this week, but we're hoping that it will still be completed for them to be able to reside in ILC. There's no roof damage or anything. We were concerned about that initially, but the rooftop is going on, so we don't think that it would be a risk as they're finishing up to have students in that area, but we're keeping conversation open with the company just to make sure that if we do use it, that it will be safe to do so. So we have one of the other positions that we are looking to add, John Long, who has presented to the board, is the CPC for DPI. As of July 1, because of the transition, he will no longer be with us. We did interview two agencies, and both were very qualified, very reputable companies. We did select a CPC through Muter.
What is
A
Oh,
CPC
what
is
is-
construction project coordinator.
Okay.
And so our attorneys are working with Muter and drawing up a contract and negotiating that contract. So we hopefully will have something in place sometime soon for that. Do you have any further updates
No,
on
I
that?
think you've got it. If you remember, we've been getting a lot of assistance from DPI's construction office. John Long has presented here several times. But that support from DPI on construction is ending. So the recommendation was to put out for bid or for an RFQ, or request for qualifications to see who might be interested in doing this project. And several firms were interviewed. The three directors sat in. My partner, Chris Campbell, sat in on the interviews, I believe. Both highly qualified firms. And this same firm will provide assistance to all three schools, with I believe someone designated for each school, because each school has a lot of work.
Yes.
And that contract, I've seen a draft of that contract. It was circulated on Friday, so I'm sure that will be polished and then negotiated in the next week or two, I would assume. I think the next meeting, we'll have a meeting in June. That should come back to the board for official board approval. And then it'll go into effect July 1. But firm's very capable, has a well-known architect in school circles, done lots and lots of architect work. And I know the directors were impressed with that firm, so that's the main thing.
Yes. What impressed us a lot was two of the key workers there in management level. They both worked for DPI, so they're very familiar with the processes that are at state government, as well as the players in state government. So we're hoping that, by getting involved with them, that we'll be able to kind of hit the ground running. John Long has committed, as recently as last week, that he will help with the transition, even though July 1 is the hard deadline. He said with the construction projects that we have on campus, even if he has to do it outside of his official work hours, he will make sure that we're taken care of and that transition happens as smoothly as it possibly can, so that, he can kind of update people on exactly what's been going on and where each project is on campus as we have it right now. So he's been very helpful.
I would just add, a few months ago when he made his presentation, I wouldn't say I was nervous, but it was clear we needed to take action because he was doing a lot of work and he wasn't going to be there. And fortunately, the process has proceeded. It's not finalized, but there's every reason to think that there will be an acceptable contract to be in place. We'll bring that to the board next June meeting. I feel good about that situation now.
Yes.
And I just want to commend John Long for his obvious devotion to the school. What you have said just exemplifies that he's willing to help. He doesn't operate, I guess, by June 30, 5 o'clock. I'll never see you again, but he's available. So we don't want to have to pull that too much, but
Right, exactly.
But it's good that he would be available.
So he's been great. In fact, a representative from Muter came out last week with him I met with the two of them and just talked about what our needs were and how we wanted to move forward with certain things. So we were all on the same page. So it looks like it may work out pretty well. But we will miss John. He's been very devoted, as been said here today, and we will definitely, miss his commitment to the school and his just everything that he has done. He's kind of really took us on as his own project and has been very good about it. Which brings us to some of our other improvements and repairs on campus. We have Eagles Hall. I don't know if some of you noticed. I know it's rainy and ugly outside this morning, but the building in front of the school is no longer peeling of paint. That was scraped and cleaned up over the weekend. They were working on it on Monday as well as the holiday came in. So it's definitely being spruced up. Since I've been employed here, when I've talked to quite a few people about where I'm working, a lot of people, I drive by there every day. That place isn't closed. And because Eagles Hall is the first building that everybody sees, and it was in bad shape, the building, and we still have a lot of work to do in the inside, but the outside didn't indicate that we were a vibrant campus for students who are deaf and hard of hearing. So we wanted to give it a nice facelift in addition to saving the building from deteriorating further because it is a state-owned building. So we did invest some money into cleaning out the outside. We're going to invest some additional funds to getting the air to circulate on the inside. And then hopefully in the future, we can look at that being a capital project with state legislation to approve that project. So that's kind of where we're at with Eagles. Alan, would you like to give an update on the bidding process that took place last week?
Okay. So last week we did have the bidding process for our project coming up, and the bids were successful. I believe that the main project bid came in like 4.15, somewhere in that area. I didn't bring the paperwork with me. But the other item with the bidding was we had alternate items that we wanted to try to get done, and we want to try to get all of them with the same contract company while we're out here. The first of the items was the bleachers in the Williamson gym. That was one of the alternates, and successfully the bidding with all the alternates, it came in under 5 million. It was just under 4.7 million. And so we're able to get everything within budget that we had on the alternate list. So the first one, like I said, was bleachers in Williamson gym. The other one was the Woodard stairs on the south end of the Woodard building, having it moved from the east facing side to the west facing side so that it would connect to our sidewalk. So if you come out of the upstairs Woodard, you can come down the steps onto the sidewalk instead of the grass, and then you could go to the ILC or to the parking lot. The Vestal loading dock repair modifications. Over the years, that loading dock has been damaged, repaired, patched. Also, truck drivers, when they come in, they have trouble coming from the east and the west side. A lot of times they got to pull in, turn around, come back up to unload. With the project, they'll be able to come in from either entrance and unload successfully without as much complication. The maintenance shop bathroom has been non-functional for some time, from what I'm told. That was one of the alternates that was to go in and make repairs to the maintenance shop bathroom. The other items were asphalt overlay, because one part of the project is to improve the drainage around the south end. And right now, Longleaf, they're already started on their process of improving the drainage coming off their property, which goes back to the west side of the property to that ditch back there. And our area will be started once we get this project started. But because there'll be a lot of modification and changes back there to improve the drainage, the asphalt overlay was something that wasn't included. And so that was an alternate so that we could get that repaved on that south road. So that's going to be done also. And then we have a little access road that goes around the back of the Williamson Gym. It's just dirt and rock. And so that's something that, yeah, it's unleveled in some area. That was also alternate that was included in this bidding process. And thankfully, it's going to be improved. And so that was a great success for us as a whole to get everything that we were wanting to get done all within budget. And so it was a very successful bid.
You want to talk about carpet?
Okay. Currently, we're waiting for manufacturers to make it, but we've got carpet to be replaced upstairs in our library. And we got carpet that will be matching in here. All the carpet will match and coordinate with what the improvements were already slated for in the auditorium, which the auditorium project has been started months ago, even before I got here started. We had issues getting the wood that was picked out. We went back with the architect. They, with us, picked out a different color wood that we can get. The chairs have been the holdup. So the carpet from the auditorium, the carpet in here, and the carpet in the library, it will all match and coordinate. So everything will flow in a uniform manner throughout this whole building. The tile over in the Woodard building, it's had a lot of moisture in the floor. Last year I was told that they had flooded and had gone there, cleaned it up. They had polished out the tile, but when you look at it, it still looks old, very unsightly. That's another item that we have got scheduled up for next month. Adams Carpet will be coming in and replacing those tiles over there. We got the Woodard entry this week before the 60th anniversary. They're going to come in tomorrow and redo the tile as you come into the building and up on the steps for the landings that goes to upstairs. And so that will be done before our 60th anniversary. So hopefully that will be very presentable for the people that will be touring our museum upstairs. And then also we're looking at redoing the tile in our hallway in the Vestal building up in the school. Again, that's another area that's very dated. We're not going to take those tiles up. We're going to go over them because they do have the asbestos adhesive. But we have talked with the flooring company. They feel confident that there's no issue with us just going over top of it. And we'll get that replaced. Oh, yeah. The Alfred, going back to the Alfred building, one of the issues down there is that the moisture, when they did check the moisture in the floor, which is part of the cause of the tile looking bad, is that floor holds a lot of moisture. If you work from probably the southwest end of the building, coming back this way to the east, we had up to 100% moisture, 80% moisture in the floor. So that's one of the importance of redoing the floor, is that the new adhesive will seal that moisture out in the concrete and protect the new floor and make it, a better atmosphere within that building. We've got some ceiling tiles that we'll put in also that never got them. We got all the ceiling tiles replaced in every classroom previously, but we never did get the hallway. And we have the ceiling tiles on site now to do that. And so once school's out, we'll get those ceiling tiles also replaced throughout that building. So everything should be completely retiled in the ceiling instead of old dingy looking tile. And then the classroom in McAdams, we got a classroom that we're going to get carpeted also once school is out.
Thank you. you. And that last classroom in McAdams, it's the only classroom in the entire building that did not get recarpeted with everything else. So we're going to go ahead and do that one since it's in pretty bad shape and needs to be replaced as well.
Yes, Gary.
I'm very concerned about that ad hoc road that was put in behind McAdams Hall. Mr. McAdams is very proudful. It's one of the selling points when he originated this school, except for Woodard Hall that was already there. It was a part of the special care. There was no roads anywhere on the academic side of the campus. Therefore, no child could ever be hit by a road. And I'm going to be honest here. That ad hoc road that was put in behind McAdams Hall serves absolutely no purpose other than lazy maintenance men wanting a shortcut through campus. The other thing is we've got a beautiful indoor pool. It was the only indoor pool for many, 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 many years. I wonder what that road will do now to that side wall in the pool, because I noticed there is cracks in that, if that would contribute to that. I know that's going to cost a lot of money. Is that money that's needed to be spent? Or could we just sort of plow it over and put grass like it is and have a beautiful campus than a road going through our campus for absolutely no reason? The other thing is, Mr. Massey, who was over the dean, he was the dean of students, and he was a very, very frugal man. He saw some pavement being torn up in town, and he got them to load it up on a flatbed truck and bring it down to the little area close to the football field that is beautiful, that we use for a picnic area. And never were we able to do anything, because he was going to make sort of picnic tables out of it. I know personally, as dean of students, I did not allow my kids to go down for picnics ever, because it is full of snakes, full. And I can attest to that, because I've been down there many times. I would love to see that just hauled away. It's nothing but broken sidewalk panels is all it is. And that could be developed into a beautiful little park, because it is very, very shaded down there. The other thing is the garbage trucks that come in every day or 2-3 times a week. They backed into that loading dock so many times, and it has been repaired so many times, that if you go and look at it now, even though I know it's been repaired within the year, it's just a crumbling mess. I would think that they would be held accountable every time they hit it, and it is the garbage trucks, or put bolsters, metal bolsters, so if they back into it, the brickwork is not going to be touched at all. In fact, they may have some problems with their vehicles. So I just offer those 3 comments for what it's worth.
Thank you for sharing that. We will definitely look into it. Those partial roads were both there, I know when I got here, so I didn't know the history of that. So thank you for sharing. We will definitely look into it. Any other questions or comments about the maintenance updates and constructions?
This is Kevin. What Gary said hit the nail on the head. Spent a lot of money, you know, like on the pool, we spent a lot of money there. So to fix it, we need that pool. We need it repaired. I mean, man, I'd rather have a, pool than be able to walk around in the back, take a shortcut, having to walk to the football field. I prefer to have a pool than a road. where people can drive four-wheelers going back through there. That's just my opinion on that, but just my 2 cents.
So we do have an older campus that needs a lot of love and care and money. And so we really are looking to prioritize some of our projects. We only get a certain amount of money, about $2 million a year, that can get allocated to capital improvement projects. And so because we've had some roofs that needed repaired, because we had leakage issues in the dormitories or in the classrooms, so that has been the priority kind of from the surface tops, literally, and looking at the quality of life for the students. So our next capital project we're going to be working towards would be the dormitory. But we are hoping that some of this other money and some of the other projects that we can look at the pool and some of the other things that the campus and the community would really benefit from. But it is a matter of prioritizing what the school's needs are. And starting July 1, when we have another CPC company and the work with all of you, really looking at our list of construction items and letting you all help us prioritize where we want to spend those dollars and focus on the needs of the school as well.
It's a good update from the maintenance, all the things that's going on, because we don't see all of that. We see some things, but there's a lot more there than most of us see. But it's been very important to maintain the facility. We're going to have people in it. So I appreciate what Alan is doing and your leadership as well, to see that we do the prioritization as best we can. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, moving on to enrollment. Our first grader has transitioned into the program, even though it's a tough time of the year to transition. Right when we came back from spring break in April, he's doing really well. We have 5 applicants that our admissions team have reviewed, and we are moving to the next step of having a admissions kind of like we call it an admissions hearing. It's basically where we review with the family the eligibility criteria, and they have the opportunity in person to share any additional information about their child that we may not see within the documents that we request through that process. So those are in the works and scheduled for starting next week. We also have 1 male student, 9th grader, that will be joining us for certain in the fall as well. So we could, as of right now, have an additional 6 students. We do have a application week here at ENCSD from the 9th through the 13th of June. And we are encouraging families that if they would like to apply, the earlier they apply, the better, because it is a process and getting all the paperwork from their current schools that we would need to review, such as their IEPs and so forth, and discipline records, any enrollment attendance records, those kind of things that we have to review in that process. And we also, for our 60th anniversary on Saturday, we're hoping that the community will come as well and join us. And we have tours and an admissions table set up for that event as well.
What time is it?
It is from 11 to 7. We will do our opening ceremony at 11 at Gary Farmer Field, and Gary Farmer will do our introduction and kickoff.
Really? That's the first time I heard of that.
I hope you're lying, because Ray should have talked to you.
Yes, we had a staff member that was supposed to
Oh, did I
contact
tell you
you.
I'm not coming?
But- And so we had a staff member that was supposed to contact you, so my sincere apologies if that did not happen. But then we will have an alumni parade, and we'll have food vendors. Harlem Globetrotter will be here to help us celebrate the day with a performance around 3. We'll have an alumni basketball game. We have some special booths from agencies and programs that serve the deaf and hard of hearing here. as well as some jewelry. We have someone that's coming that's making the jewelry like the I love you signs and things of that nature. So it's hopefully going to be a wonderful day, and it will celebrate it by a fun run for anyone that wants to participate. It's a mile run or walk, depending on what you want to do. You can purchase t-shirts and get the paint thrown at you, where your shirt will look all colorful after you ran. And so we hope that a lot of people will come out and join the celebration. We know a lot of our alumni are definitely coming back to visit the campus, and we're just excited about what the day will bring for us. Any questions about any of that?
That's a lot. So we hope that the weather is in our favor for supposed to be the 60s. Yeah, supposed to be really good.
And Sally B has been gracious enough. I went over last week. They invited me to their campus and gave me a little tour, and they have agreed to allow our staff to park over there, so that will free up our parking here on this campus for our visitors.
And this is Sharon, I have a question. The graduation at 2 o'clock today, exactly where is that going on?
Well, normally we hold graduation in the Massey Auditorium, but because it's under construction, we've spruced up the Williamson or McAdams Auditorium, and that's where we will hold it.
Over in McAdams,
Yes.
okay. Okay, so secondly, some visitors, former teachers who, they have to go through registration to be able to go to graduation, correct or no?
Yes.
They have to register there.
Well, just sign in. Sign in.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there was somebody who'd texted me and asked me that question, so I'm looking at that.
And so our upcoming events is graduation today. We have our end of the year awards on the 20th, and then our 60th celebration on Saturday. And that will close out our 24-25 school year.
Very good.
I want to make this perfectly clear, and I want this to go in the minutes. The recommendations that I said a while ago and the recommendations that Kevin said a while ago is not a reflection of you and this group that you have put together, because honestly, you inherited all this. You inherited the prioritization of these ways that money is going to be spent, and there's nothing you can do about this now. So please, I have the highest degree, just totally impressed with what you have done in 2 months. So please know that even though I offer these suggestions and they're about the future. You can't do this. You inherit this, and thank you for all you are doing and your group of people that you put together.
I have a great
Agreed,
group of
Kevin.
people, and the support that the board has shown has just been tremendous this year. So I really appreciate everything that you all do to support us in what we're doing here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then the new business items are.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So the new business items are, we have, I don't know if you all have read the new legislation update, but there is, as of December 1, we will be getting the early learning sensory support for hearing impaired. Currently, they are under DPI as we are. And once we make the transition to TOA, July 1, as of December 1, this early learning sensory support program will become under us at ENCSD. And so that agency will work out of or from underneath us. I'm not sure of all the details that are involved in that program. I do know that it's a program that serves 0 to 2 students, or children, I should say, with hearing loss. And some of that are programs that go out to the home, and some of them are services that they would receive here at school. I'm not sure exactly how many employees that will involve coming to us, but that program is in the works, and hopefully we'll get some additional information soon so that we can start planning for that process. The last item,
This is Sharon. We're asking, is that like early intervention?
yes. Okay, and the last line of business,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Rob.
do we know if DOI will be transferring the funding for that program to us?
my understanding is it will, as well as the staff of that program. So everything will just transition with them, kind of like what we're doing with DOA.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions pertaining to that? Yes. So- And I believe there's a copy of it in your folders as well.
This is the interpreter, I missed the question.
Oh, she wanted to know if it was Senate Bill 257. And then the last line of business, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, the last line of business is with the transition, we had to develop a MOA with DOA, all these acronyms. But the attorneys from DOA actually did the first draft. They sent those to us. We came up with a list of questions and concerns and shared that with our attorneys. And they are working on, behind the scenes, on some revisions. I believe do you want to share any updates on that as well?
Sure, thank you. The attorney for general counsel for the Department of Administration presented a draft MOA, memorandum of agreement, which is required by the statute as to what functions DOA will assist ENCD with, or the other, all schools. And so the first draft was good. We asked all of our directors what questions they might have. They submitted their responses. The attorneys, again, for the three schools, we met in our firm's conference room. It's pretty easy that way. And we went over those questions, and that's in the process of being revised. That would go out. But that will be, there shouldn't be any problem there either. That's in process. Another one that I would add to that is that the statute also requires that there be an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, which is essentially the same thing. Sometimes you call them MOA, sometimes MOUs, with DPI, Department of Public Instruction, as to insurance. And that is in process as well. The DPI attorney prepared a first draft. And DPI will provide a certain amount of insurance that will facilitate the schools purchasing other insurance. We're trying to identify really what other insurance we need. And that's in process as well. I think that those two agreements will come back to the board again in June. So we'll have, it's a big month to approve everything and get everything in shape for July 1.
Thank you. And that concludes the director's report.
I'll just make a comment before we go into closed session. Again, I appreciate the discussion that we had here today, and more importantly, the progress that we're making. I mean, we have lined out some things to do from standpoint of employment, children's coming here, physical facilities, and the overall operating philosophy is really taking us in a good direction. So I appreciate everybody for doing that. So I appreciate the hard work that Cheryl Ianucci has been doing, along with Mandy, and along with our HR person back there. Simone is a business leader as well. And it really takes a team to make this run right. And I think the dynamics between the people that we have here is truly very positive and very positively focused on the deaf community. How can we do things better for the kids who come here, for the people who work here, and the kids who are already here? Okay. It's very important that we do those things. So Alan, in terms of the maintenance things, it's a real transition there because, we don't have John Long, but things are going forward and it feels good. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no further discussions in general session, I move that the ENCSD Board of Trustees go into closed session to consider personnel matters as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A6 and 115C-321, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3.
Thank you.
Second.
Yeah.
One discussion. Before we go into closed session, while we're still in open session, could we verify what our meeting date for June is going to be?
I'll have to count it from you. This is the third weekend.
Would it be the 18th?
We'll figure that out right
It'd be
now.
the 18th, Sharon is saying.
The
It
18th.
says here on my
Wednesday.
calendar, third week.
It's on Wednesday, the 18th. Okay. June 18th.
I won't be able to be here, but I can join through Zoom. This is Sharon.
Okay.
I'll be in South Carolina working.
Okay, June 18th is right around the corner. Yes. Okay. Anything else?
We have a first and a second, so we just.
Go ahead. Sharon.
Can we go ahead and schedule for the fall for August? Only for emergencies
Sure.
because of the fall,
Yep. Go ahead.
because I would like to have every an afternoon meeting. Remember you and I spoke about that before, maybe in the fall, not this summer, but for the fall, and we can discuss that later. Okay.
Probably need to discuss that in session at a later date.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
We'll put the on
need a
the
vote now.
So we need a vote. All in favor of going to closed session? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank the participants for being here.